We'll go ahead and call this Norwood City Council meeting to order. If everyone can please rise for a moment of reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Here.
Mrs. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Robbins?
Here.
Mrs. Bowling?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Girton?
Here.
Ms. Sullivan?
Here.
We do have all members present this evening. We do have several amendments to the agenda. Under committee reports, we will be removing items 2 and 6. Those are the Streets, Housing, and Health Committee is number 2. Engagement, Communication, and Outreach Committee is item number 6. We will be adding a Parks Committee report. That is it under committees. Under second readings of ordinances and resolutions, we will be adding the second reading for the street naming ordinance. Under introductory readings of ordinances and resolutions, we will be adding 2. Number 9 will be the resolution regarding the Norwood Civic Youth Committee. And 10 will be an ordinance regarding amending the CRA. That should be it. Oh, and I did want to make note of the exhibit that was distributed to everyone regarding the permanent appropriations. I believe that was not included in the packet originally, but that was recently provided to it. Mr. Gardner.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we amend the agenda as stated.
Motion by Mr. Gardner to amend the agenda as stated. Is there Mrs. Hoover?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda, minutes of the March 24th, 2026 meeting. Mrs. Franzen.
I mean, we approve the minutes as a breath.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to approve the minutes as if read. Ms. Sullivan.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Moving on to requests to address council. We do have 3 of those. The first is Bishop Sonny James.
Greetings, everyone. Pray blessings be upon you and your families. To all of the residents in Norwood, I'm excited to come here this evening for a lot of different reasons. You know, we work with the young folks that are most challenged or face many challenges, and our collective efforts are really starting to gain a lot of momentum. I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you all or not, but as we grow closer to the summer, my partnerships, we've announced that we will be awarding free, F-R-E-E, full ride, F-R-E-E, full ride college scholarships. And so we are looking to be a blessing to the young folks who have made a commitment in their lives to really stand up and do something different to add to our wonderful community. And as many of you can imagine, I'm eyeballing and seeing who we can find in Norwood to be a blessing to. But it's not limited to Norwood. Obviously, my work goes across the state. There are a lot of summer plans coming up, but we really want to partner more and more with our own municipality right here, because as most of you know, I've always said Norwood is absolutely the best community in all the country. And so we want to really make sure that a lot of my efforts are intended to be a blessing to those deserving. I mean, all of our students deserve it, but I mean, we don't just have endless pockets, but we've been very, very fortunate and blessed with some of our partnerships. I want to say congratulations to all of you. I wasn't able to be here with you all, but to have our Congressman, Greg Landsman, to work with all of you. I know the request may have been for $1 million, but we got $500,000 toward the parks. And that was a beautiful thing. And one of the things that I want to commend each of you on is when I looked at that photo, it looked just like my events come together. It wasn't about Republican. It wasn't about Democrats. It was about what's good for Norwood. And you folks came together. Now, I can't take any credit for that. But you folks did exactly what our children need to see us do. You all came together. It wasn't about any political agenda. It wasn't about any color of anybody's skin. It wasn't about anybody's age. You all came together. And I teased his staff earlier, a little bit ago, that I'll be coming for the other half that we didn't get so that we can focus that part on these youth agendas. I want to also say thank you to Mr. Moore, Councilman Moore. For many years, I've stood up here and I've asked some of my colleagues, how in the world do we have events going on? And not that I'm more special than anybody, because I'm not, but there are certain things that we need to do a better job of just communicating. And Mr. Moore, I want to thank you and your wife for making sure that we were aware of your block party this coming weekend. And I've told my team, even though I was supposed to be out of town, I've told my team that I'm going to intentionally adjust some of my schedule just so I can at least show up to a little bit of your block party. And folks, when we do these type things, it really shows our young people that we are committed. And when I go to DC July 1st through July 5th and take a host of folks with me to celebrate the 250th year celebration of our nation, talked to a gentleman just last night and said, Bishop, I need all information so we can get your badges so you can come in and do what you got to do. But really, I just want to go places and brag about us. I want to brag about Norwood. And I want you all to know that, yes, there are some things that we still need to come together on, but I'm hoping and praying that we're going to do just that. So I am announcing that we will soon be launching the People's Perspective, which many communities have a resident advisory committee, and you guys are familiar with those. But we're not just going to be limited to Norwood. It's going to be anywhere in the state. It could be anywhere. But to get the residents and train them and motivate them to realize that it is the voice of the people that moves the needle. So that's pretty much all I have right now. I want to also give a shout out. Tweeties has moved from POK. We'll be opening 3 new locations coming up here, one in the next 2 weeks, but we have 3 locations already signed and already moving on. So God bless you all. Come out and support. Be well.
Thank you. The next request to address council is Susan Daniels.
Susan Daniels, president of the Norwood Historical Society. Just 2 things. Did want to start off with the America 250 real fast before I get into Marsh Park. Now that I'm an official point person. So if you guys have any upcoming events for the year that you think is 250 relevant, we can get it on the state calendar, the county calendar. Just email me at norwoodohiohistory@gmail.com. Let's keep that short and sweet. Do I need to do anything or just, are you doing it? Scroll.
Mr. Gears is.
So somebody's scrolling, okay. So reminder, this Saturday at 10 o'clock is the Marsh Park Historical Marker dedication, unveiling of that. It's gonna be like a 15-20 minute ceremony. So there will be a few speakers. The state is coming, just a representative from the Ohio History Connection. So we did put together our official statement of significance that was submitted to the state to get approved for the marker is now in digital format. And we added a lot of the backup maps and documents more into a formal presentation. So this will be, I'll put it on Facebook tonight, and we'll get that more out there. And then, of course, share it to the county because they're doing undertold stories. But if you wanted to start scrolling. No.
That's-
Oh, I thought you were going to go.
Just the QR code.
Oh, okay, well,
Sorry.
there's the QR code. Again, I'll put it on Facebook, and then everyone can see it. Or you can do the QR code, or it'll get out there. So any questions? Sorry, I thought we were scrolling through it.
Mrs. Huber.
I would like to thank you very much. Susan Daniels and I have been working on this for 4 years. And this is such an important story in Norwood. And it's also a bit of a litmus test on where we are as a community. 4 years ago, when I first brought this up, even with over 100 pieces of historical documents, there was still those who thought it was untrue, that it was harmful to the community. And what we have learned through this process, not only is it absolutely true, there's over 100 pieces of historical documents. I love the digital companion that Susan and I curated. It's a really remarkable story about how Blacks were forced out of Norwood. This is in 1923. And it's an important story for Norwood. First of all, it's a story that transcends every community in the United States. And the fact that we have a physical space here in Norwood where we can go and see how it impacted the community, I think is really pretty remarkable. And this is not to shame Norwood, but rather to build to build accountability, to build empathy. And one of the big things that sort of resonated with me is a basis of trust and truth. And once we have that, once we can have an acknowledgement of some of the harm that did happen to this community, and I think it's very important that we can actually see the face of Bianca Parker. These were actual people, families that were pushed out of their homes for the mere basis of their color. And that was Norwood 100 years ago. Norwood has changed so much since then, and our future just continues to look brighter. And this is a reminder about whether we want to be intentionally exclusive, as we were, or intentionally inclusive, which is my hope for our future. And the response that I've gotten, I know Susan has gotten, and the work that we've done has been overwhelmingly powerful and positive. I reached out to the county recorder, Scott Crowder, who some of us met a few years ago, lovely historian. He's our county auditor, or county recorder, excuse me. He has personal connections to Marsh Park. My sister-in-law from Kentucky, her mother grew up on Marsh Park. Unfortunately, she died last year. She was really looking forward to this moment. So I'm hoping people can come together and understand that this is an acknowledgement of our past and an opportunity to choose where we want to go. And Susan, the hours and hours and hours that you did cannot be acknowledged. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last request to address council is Rodney Rogers.
Rodney Rogers, 4121 Forest. I've got two things I want to talk about. The one is the cannabis tax. You guys were doing this survey, and I started to do it. I don't like surveys, but there's things that make me say, nope, that's it. And it wanted to know my age, wouldn't allow me to give a range, and it wanted to know my income. And it's like, that's it. So when we got down to the sidewalk thing, well, everybody knows I walk. I walk more now in miles than I drove 5 years ago. So I'm kind of for sidewalks, but I'm not pushing it. I sympathize with you guys, whatever you come up with, but you're almost like my family get-togethers. And when we decide, oh, we'll get something out, we won't, nobody wants to fix anything. So we end up with two groups. So, okay, one group go here, one group go there. So I don't know if that's how you're going to solve this, is divided it up, but that's all I've got on that. The other thing is the charter. I tried to look up, because I thought that we had charter votes years ago, and it was in 1913 and 1916. And both of those, a majority of people voted to set up a commission, but a majority voted against both of those. And just so you can think about that, the first one was giving all power to 3 commissioners. And then the second one was giving all the power to the mayor. And that's something we shouldn't try to do. I don't know if you know, but in Cincinnati, when they did the charter, it was because they had a politician, Boss Cox. So they set up a charter party, and they did for years have a government with a city manager. Well, just a few years ago, the vote was taken, and people can be persuaded. And what they did is they gave power to the mayor, and nothing gets on the council without the mayor saying that it gets on it. So if we do a charter, is be careful about trying to put too much power into any one person. There's also some dangers about the charter. Right now, we're kind of protected by the state laws if we do things wrong. If we do things wrong with the charter, we're on our own. And you can do ordinances right now, but if you go with the charter, it's almost like a constitution, and you can be stuck with it until the people vote against it. So the one mistake in 1916, they had the mayor as president, but they forgot to include what happens if he's out of office. And so that meant they had to go back to the people to make a change in the charter if they had went through with it. So, if 15 people, are they going to be smart enough to be able to cover everything or not? And I would like to ask, what is the goal and the purpose of having the charter? I'm just asking because people outside will be asking this when it comes up for a vote. So make that clear. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have no public hearings or special presentations this evening, but we do have a number of committee reports. Mr. Garten.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we accept all committee reports as if read, with the exception of the April 4th Law and Ordinance and Environment Public Safety Committee.
So except for item 4.
Yes, sir.
Noted. Mrs. Franzen.
I second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Franzen. Any discussion? Mrs. Hoover.
I appreciate this for speed. I'm just concerned that some folks who don't watch the committee meetings are going to be a little left behind. So maybe a caveat, if you've got questions, you can look at those meetings, or perhaps a request that we go ahead and read the minutes or the reports.
Mrs. Franzen.
I think for mine, at least, there's only really one thing that I thought would be important for everyone to know, and that is that we are a request for proposals for Doral Field that's going to come out soon. that is going to help us decide how the best way to use the $500,000. So getting ideas from consulting firms and people whose that job there it is to do that, so they can manage the construction and rehabilitation of the soccer fields. To Mrs. Hoover's point, I think at least for most of these, it's probably, I don't think we necessarily need to read them out in full. It would be good, though, maybe in the future to have them in the packet, if we can get stuff together well before the meeting and make sure that they're included in the packet. That might be one way that they're still available, but we don't have to spend time reading through everything. We can kind of expedite the meeting a little bit. That's my idea.
Any further discussion? Motion on the floor by Mr. Gerton, seconded by Mrs. Franzen, is to accept all committee reports as if read, with the exception of J4, which is the Law, Ordinance, Environment, and Public Safety Committee report from April 1st. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Provins,
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Gerton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. So we will move on to the Law, Ordinance, Environment, and Public Safety Committee report from April 1st. Mr. Province.
I move to amend the rules of council by striking the current meeting time and replacing it with 7 p.m. so that all regular meetings of Norwood City Council shall convene at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Mr. Gerton.
I second that motion.
We needed to accept the committee report.
Oh,
I move to amend my motion and add to accept the committee report. Do we have to accept it first and then make the second
Correct.
motion? Okay. So I move to accept the committee report and file as read.
Mr. Gerton.
I amend my motion and second that motion.
All right. Thank you. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Provins,
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Gerton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Mr. Province.
Now I move to amend the rules of council by striking the current meeting time and replacing it with 7 p.m. so that all regular meetings of Norwood City Council shall convene at 7 p.m.
Is there a second? Mr. Gerton.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Provins,
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Gerton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. So just so that everyone watching is aware, all of our future regularly scheduled Norwood City Council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. as opposed to 7:30 p.m. And moving on to administration reports. Schneider.
Mr. President. I actually thought that Rodney was my friend for quite a while, but I guess Rodney's not an advocate of the mayor. Jeez. Are you gonna call him?
Wow.
I'm waiting for him to say something offensive.
But he did bring up a good point of what's the purpose and the goal for the charter, which I think you guys will have to answer, and that's an interesting question. Why would we change from statutory to a charter city after all these years? Even though Cincinnati made the change in Boss Cox era, right around 1930, in the 1930s, and if we look at what was going on at Doral Field in the 1930s, they were like totally different person in different positions at that time. So going on in the city right now, the Trail House paving project, which is Lexington Avenue, has been ground down and is, I guess it's been milled and it'll probably be paved tomorrow, I suspect. That is work, paving work that's being completed by the Trail House group. That's a private donation ultimately to the city, and a considerable donation to get that straight in shape, and all the nice new curbs and sidewalks that are being put down there. So definitely thank the Trail House people when you see the people. South Jefferson paving project has started and is ongoing right now. It started out with Duke Energy doing some high pressure gas lines down through the street, and I see they've got all sorts of construction equipment for some different catch basin work that will be completed up and down through that street. That's a big project. I keep on telling people that live on South Jefferson, you're going to be tired of it before it gets done, but once it's done, it's going to be it'll make a great improvement there. The street survey is being finalized. I know the city's had some drafts of it and been able to look over some of that stuff. I'm looking at the streets, and I drove a lot of the streets over the weekend. We were looking at some different houses and different things going on. And our residential streets, people always tell me, the first thing they tell you when you're campaigning is our streets are in terrible shape. Our residential streets are in terrible shape. And I think that city council is looking at a street levy and looking at, how we can make improvements to the residential streets. They are much needed. I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't think that our residential streets need to have a serious infusion of cash to get them in shape. They've been neglected for years. They've been patched up for years. And they work, but we want better streets. So there's no doubt. And if people, every time it seems like I talk to somebody, they're like, Mr. Mayor, when are you going to fix the streets? Like, we're trying. We're doing everything we can, but there's only so much you can do unless the city members will get behind us. And I think that all comes down to the potential of a street levy, which gives us the ability to do that. Extra care while you are out and about. I live on Floral Avenue, and the sidewalks are packed. And all the residential, every street in Norwood is packed with people out enjoying this weather. You got people walking with strollers. You've got citizens running. You've got people on bicycles. So just take care. I mean, it's this time of the year where everybody wants to be out when it's a nice day. I would say also for those people that are doing it, use common sense. If you're going to run down the middle of the street and think that cars are going to stop and get out of your way, I'm sorry, that's not really realistic. A lot of people will say, I don't like to run on the sidewalks. The streets aren't much better, but doing that is not going to help. If you're riding a bicycle and you're out in the middle of the lane, like you're supposed to be 3 feet from the curb. So if there's cars parked there, of course you're going to be out in that lane. But when there aren't cars parked there, you don't stay out in the middle of the lane. You get back over towards the curb, and that lets vehicles get past. People get a different idea about when they're on a bicycle and you're supposed to be over to the side. You really use common sense. If you're out there trying to get hit, keep it up. You probably will get hit at some point. So. We're working on the trees along Montgomery Road and working on getting that all squared away, and I think you've got legislation for that. The sidewalks on Montgomery Road are nice. If you've walked on Montgomery Road, you'll see how it's such a better feel. Elm Avenue repairs so the Elm Avenue sewage or drainage problem has repaired, and we don't have the big flooding going on, but we've had some terrible streets, there are terrible curbs, all the sidewalks. That's all being repaired and replaced right now. They're working on that. So that's going to end up being beautiful. Let's see, parks are full. And parks are full, and when I say they're full of people, they're also full of garbage. So everybody's going to the parks, and they go to the park and they take all this food and they take all this trash with them. And maybe it's soccer moms or soccer dads they're the snack person, and then they take their big snack bag full of garbage and they throw it in the can that's already overflowing, so now you have garbage everywhere. And years ago, the soccer board actually told all the parents, like, take it with you. If you bring it to the park and now you feed all the little kids, take those juice boxes, take that stuff with you, because putting it on top of a garbage can that's already overflowing, it's probably going to end up all over in the park. And then you're going to be complaining, there's a lot of trash in the park. Well, so if you bring it to the park, take your garbage with you, please, because we can't stay up with that, and we really don't want to have 5 garbage cans sitting out in the parks and them all overflowing, so please take it with you. Parks are full, that's great. The other thing is keeping an eye on your spectator kids. So if your spectator kid is running rampant, and parks can be dangerous at times. There's cars running through the parks and in the parking lots and different things. But keeping an eye on your kids and making sure they're not damaging and just doing mischief around there is an important part too. So help us. There's a big sign up there that says "Do a good deed, do a good deed daily" or something, and it basically in the parks it's saying it's your park, take care of it with us, help Public Works. You can complain that Public Works isn't doing their job, but I guarantee on Saturday morning those garbage cans are pretty much empty, and by Saturday evening they're packed full right now, and by Sunday they're overflowing, and people are trying to put stuff right on top of them. It's like, you brought all this garbage, please take it with you, please take it back and put it in your garbage can, keep our parks clean. There's a big cleanup coming. April 25th, that's going to be starting at Victory Park. I think it's at 10 to 11, and that's a cleanup that's put on by Norwood together. They typically do a couple of cleanups. We just had a cleanup a couple of weeks ago. This one on top of that, this is going to do Victory Park and all the school grounds, different school grounds. And I know the school has a maintenance team, and they do a good job at keeping their school grounds pretty clean, but they have the same problems we have. There's a lot of wind blowing it around. There's a lot of stuff, so getting some extra time on that cleanup is going to be helpful also. I think that's all I have. I'm probably the only one to give it.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mayor Snyder? All right, Mr. Bonzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. So from our earnings tax collection, we gave a report to the Finance Committee. I'll just kind of quickly sum it up. Basically, we're down like 5.7% for the year when it comes to earnings tax collection. Some of that I think is seasonal in nature or timing in nature. Some of it's to be seen, whether it sticks or not, but it's still pretty early. So we'll keep you updated on that. I don't see any cause for alarm on adjusting anything when it comes to this year's appropriations or plans or spending or anything like that, but I think we just keep an eye on it. Another thing, it's a little bit of time coming, but our office is now completely caught up on bank reconciliation. So there was a while last year where we had some staffing issues, and basically the person that does the bank reconciliations was just completely doing other jobs to make up for, needing staffing. But we've got a really great team in there right now, and things are, they're just kind of they're running pretty well. So basically we're caught up on that. I think the auditor, is pretty happy about that. He might talk about that, but he has what he needs, but we're excited. We did receive in early April our Paycor settlement check. So this is the third installment of 4 checks. It's already in the plan, so it's not like it's any money that we don't already know about, but that was, $562,500, I think is the total for that. So great stuff there. And I did just want to note one thing. So the treasurer's office, we're statutorily separate from, the auditor's office, the mayor's office, law director. So, they're basically the staff kind of report up to me. And one of the cool things about this is that there's some checks and balances there that not every city has. And one of those checks and balances is the fact that we review every check and every disbursement as hard as we can. We're not going to catch everything, but review it for irregularities or any kind of abnormalities. And the team recently, without going into detail, the team recently caught something that was very significant that affected the city and affected, essentially, it was fraud, essentially. So, or what we perceive as fraud. Investigation still ongoing. And I just want to express extreme appreciation for especially Tim Wagers, who was really on this, and Ava Vaughn, our lead tax clerk, and we'll be bringing something soon to kind of promote her into the deputy treasurer position that was in the financial recovery plan. But we are, I'm just very proud of them for what they did and for what they've caught. And, the investigation that they did, just informally, they don't have investigative training, but it was pretty clear where this was heading. And thankfully, we're very appreciative of the administration and the auditor's office and everybody else for embracing this and making sure that we all collectively are protecting the city, and everything worked as it was supposed to. like I said, everything's in process, but I just, like I said, I just want to express appreciation for it, because I think that there are times things can kind of slip through, and that can embolden somebody to think that something else, they can go bigger and do something else. And it's just really good to catch things, when they are. So super appreciation for them. Finally, this is tax week, and you might have got a postcard on Saturday or approximately around Saturday that kind of had the alert that deadline's coming soon. We did try to get it earlier. Trust me, we would have wanted this to come out at least a week ago to relieve the pressure that was already going to be there. But it is what it is with the mailing and the vendor. We had is what it is. So it came out though, and we appreciate the positive feedback that we've gotten so far on it. We hope it's clear, and tax day is April 15th. So if you have any questions, reach out. We are here to help. And with that,
Any questions for Mr. Bonzo? Mr. Providence?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Bonzel, thank you for the report. And so just so I'm clear, we are all caught up on the bank reconciliation to date?
Mr. Bonzo?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, we are caught up in the fact that the reconciliation has been performed. There is still work our office and the auditor's office has to do when it comes to the reconciling items like that you'll see. So there's some that are out there before even I was elected that need to get resolved, and I have a feeling that we are gonna get that resolved. But we've done everything that we have to do, and the box would be checked when it comes to financial recovery plan.
Okay. Follow-up question.
Mr. Providence?
Can you start reporting this through the budget audit finance committee just to track it so we can see get well, and then also make sure that we're resourcing things right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure that we get that to them. To you, Mr. Gritton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Bonzo? All right, Mr. Miracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed the past couple meetings, we have contracted with the Shared Resource Center. They are helping us with our policies and procedures for the report on accounting methods. And I'm happy to report that we have draft copies of all of our policies now that we're reviewing. And our intention is to meet with them next week and then get these policies to council in a timely manner. As you know, all 34 report on accounting methods must be addressed before that we can get out of fiscal emergency. So we'll be reporting out on that each finance committee meeting as well. Also, good news, we've discussed the OP&F payoff. We are going to be doing that tomorrow. And just as a reminder to everyone, this was a long-term loan, and paying it off, we'll be doing it tomorrow. It's a savings to the city of $261,197.78. So that'll be taken care of tomorrow. Additionally, we have contracted with Industrial Appraisal. Industrial Appraisal is a group that will come to Norwood, and they're going to be categorizing our fixed assets. They have a software that we'll be utilizing. This will help us to be compliant with GASB 34. So we're excited about that. And tentatively, we have an on-site visit in May. And when I get a firm date on that, I will report out to you on that as well. We are beginning work on the tax budget next week. That is due July 15th. A lot of work that goes into that. We have talked with VIP, and I've also talked with the auditor of the city of Reading. They utilize VIP to process their tax budget through VIP. So we're excited to see how we can utilize that system to help us with that. Also, we have the budget numbers in VIP Analytics, and we plan on having those up to date for your review. End of month reports were sent out for March 2026 for your review. And let's see, the last thing I want to talk about is the appropriations that you have here. Those have quite a lengthy process, been vetted, and this is the final piece of the puzzle for the year, so we're excited about that. And then one thing I want while I'm thinking of it, there's 3 resolutions for then and nows. You'll see later in the meeting. Sometimes there's circumstances beyond our control. We get an invoice that was from last year. So we have to bring those to you. We don't like to do then and nows, but and these 3 cases, they are legitimate. So just for everyone's information.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Miracle? All right. Mr. Gary. Mrs. Hoover.
Sorry, I wasn't fast enough. A question for the auditor. We had had a brief conversation a few weeks ago where I was requesting sort of like the pie chart of the city's budget. It's something that the previous auditor had created, and it was something that was very user-friendly for my eyes. I'm wondering if there's any update and when that might be. I know you have a ridiculous to-do list. Just curious if there could be an update on when that might be able to be completed.
Mr. Miracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, as a matter of fact, we have been reviewing that. Our plan is, as you said, we've had quite a few things going on, so we've kind of prioritized that. But I do have something that I can show you, kind of a preliminary. You can stop by the office, or I can email it to you as well. But that's what it's going to look like.
Okay.
So hope to have that to you here real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Miracle? All right. Mr. Gary.
Yes.
And any report for the law department?
Nothing that I want to report publicly right now.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Gary? Mr. Moore.
Hi, Mr. Gary. If I could ask, maybe for the next meeting in 2 weeks, whether that's you or Mr. Moore, just with regard to this morning, Mr. Miracle shared back the documents we got from the county auditor regarding the potential levy renewal, the streets levy documents. I'm just wondering if, again, in 2 weeks, we could get sort of an explanation of like, where do we go from here? How do we proceed with those, just the sort of guidance to the body? That would be helpful.
Sure.
Any further questions for Mr. Gary? All right, thank you. Then we will move on to second readings of ordinances and resolutions. We do have one. That is an ordinance adopting and authorizing a street naming and numbering policy to ensure public health, safety, and general welfare, as well as effective transportation navigation within the city. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we have the second reading of this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to have the second reading of the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen,
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Robbins,
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Girton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have the second reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance adopting and authorizing a street naming and numbering policy to ensure public health, safety, and general welfare, as well as effective transportation navigation within the city.
Thank you. Moving on to introductory readings of ordinances and resolutions. The first is an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an equipment purchase agreement under the State Bid Purchase Program with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for police and fire radios and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Bowling.
Mr. President, can I ask a point of clarity? My agenda has N1 as the ordinance authorizing Safety Service Director to apply and enter into a loan agreement. Did we remove that in the amendments? We have no supporting documentation for it.
No, it looks like they are in the wrong order in the packet compared to the agenda.
If it is any benefit, we don't have a copy of that. It's not in the packet. And I didn't see it sent separately in an email.
I do have a copy of it here in my packet. I'm assuming Ms. Gillens also has the information. That's the Motorola.
No, this is a loan agreement.
So it'll be,
Yeah, I have the copies.
all right. So what we can do, we can take if you want, a brief 5-minute recess to make copies, or we can move this further down the agenda while copies are being made. All right. Is that, all right.
Yes.
So do you have a copy of, you don't have a copy of the ordinance, or? All right. Thank you. So we will move what appears in your packet on the agenda as ordinance 2. We will go ahead and move that to follow this. Do you want it to follow the CRA? That way, if we have to take a brief recess for you all to review that information. All right.
This
Mrs.
is a
Franzen.
point of order. We do have the Motorola one. We have that Motorola ordinance. This is for the Ohio Water Development Authority ordinance about the lead lines for South Jefferson. That is M1, but it doesn't, we don't have that in our packets.
So I do not believe that I have that.
It's one, it's A1.
Exhibit?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So the Motorola one you do have.
Yeah.
Correct. It is what's showing as N1. I think it may be in different order in yours.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, well, that's the one that I had as 1.
I had the loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development, which is on the agenda as 1.
All right. Then we will. That's the one I had.
Did you give him, oh, you gave him the exhibits from A1?
2. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. All right, and so I do not have an exhibit with the waterworks.
What is Mr. Bonsall making copies
I
of?
believe he is making a copy of the Motorola.
Should we
Oh,
have?
yes.
We do not, we do have that.
We have that for sure.
Save a few trees.
Actually, what I believe happened is the Motorola attachment, Motorola exhibit was attached to my ordinance 1. So it appeared as though that was an attachment in this packet.
It was down in his office.
Did we have? Mr. Powers, not to put you on the spot. The attachment or the exhibit for the loan agreement for Ohio Water Development Authority for the galvanized water service lines. Did we have the information, was that information forwarded on?
I can go and check that.
Okay.
And see what it was.
All right, thank you. So that one, we will move to after the CRA. Mrs. Franzen.
For the motion on the table, I move that we suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance regarding the radios, the Motorola radios, just to make it clear for everyone.
So that should be N2 on
Correct.
agendas and in packets. All right. Motion on the floor by Mrs. Franzen to suspend the rules and have all three readings of that ordinance. Mr. Gardner.
Second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Gardner. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the ordinance.
Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an equipment purchase agreement under the State Bid Purchase Program with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for police and fire radios and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an equipment purchase agreement under the State Bid Purchase Program with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for police and fire radios and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an equipment purchase agreement under the State Bid Purchase Program with Motorola Solutions, Inc. for police and fire radios and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. That's it. Mr. Gardner.
Make a motion that we pass the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Gardner to pass the ordinance. Is there a second? Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Mrs. Hoover.
Just wanted to ask if Chief McCabe would be interested in coming up and saying a few words.
Chief McCabe?
Yes.
Is there specific questions you'd like to?
If you could just, for the folks at home who
Sure.
don't have the 70 pages of
Sure.
Motorola.
Understood. So this ordinance essentially authorizes the Safety Service Director into an agreement to replace all the police officers' radios and then all the radios the fire department utilizes. This was actually something we'd hoped to have in front of you at the first quarter. This is significant savings in terms of the percentage that the city receives off. Typically, state bid pricing is 27% off of retail Motorola pricing. This represents 40% off. 40%. 40.
Thank you, sir.
So significant. Yeah, we were unfortunately looking at potentially losing on those savings because of our inability to have the appropriation done. Fortunately for us, we were able to push this through and get it pretty much at the last day. We have to have this signed agreement in tomorrow. Now, we did go ahead and get the PO cut. We have the appropriations are there. Because of the dollar amount, it does require council action via ordinance to move forward. Technology is expensive, unfortunately. These are, so for those that you don't know, the radio system that we operate on is a statewide system called MERX. It's a Motorola system. We pretty much we did kind of just like can't put nothing in my guys' hands that isn't Motorola on a Motorola design system. But we did get the price break for it, and they've done reasonably well for us. We've had Motorola products in this city for my entire career.
Mrs. Franklin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say thank you to the fire department, and between this and thank you in general, but also thank you specifically for being heads up about like saving money on this and the fire truck. That's a really significant savings between the two of those things that will help us like continue to do the other things that we need to do as a city.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you and other departments doing that extra mile to save us all in the long run.
Sure. This was a joint effort between us and the police. Lieutenant Vickers deserves some credit for getting this pushed through as well, from the PD and Chief Sunday. Luckily, this is actually the state fire marshal's pricing, so we're actually able to pull the police into the fire pricing. For once, the fire pricing is less than police. It's normally not the case, but it's a good deal for the taxpayers for sure.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief McCabe? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion on the floor. All right, hold on. Shuffled all my papers around.
We need to pass the ordinance, we just have to do roll call.
It was
Burton and Hoover.
Got it. Motion on the floor by Mr. Garten, seconded by Mrs. Hoover, is to pass the ordinance. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. The next item is an ordinance revising the permanent appropriations for the expenditures of the City of Norwood, Ohio for the calendar year ending December 31, 2026, declaring an emergency. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we suspend the rules and have all three readings of this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Mrs. Bowling.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bowling. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the ordinance.
Ordinance revising the permanent appropriations for the expenditures of the City of Norwood, Ohio for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2026 and declaring an emergency. Ordinance revising the permanent appropriations for the expenditures of the City of Norwood, Ohio for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2026 and declaring an emergency. Ordinance revising the permanent appropriations for the expenditures of the City of Norwood, Ohio for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2026 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Hoover.
I move we pass the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Hoover to pass the ordinance. Mr. Garten.
Second motion.
Seconded by Mr. Garten. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Burton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the planting and maintenance of street trees along Montgomery Road, utilizing Hamilton County Community and Economic Development Assistant Program funds and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Hoover.
I request we suspend the rules and have all three readings.
Motion by Mrs. Hoover to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Mrs. Bowling.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bowling. Any discussion? Mrs. Hoover.
I would love to have Mr. Powers come up and talk a little bit about this. This is really exciting, trees along Montgomery Road, or I could talk about it.
Mr. Powers.
Thank you. Yes, so this is funding provided by Hamilton County. We actually had this and several other projects that were spotlighted last week at the Hamilton County Community Development Block Grant Showcase. That was a really nice event, happened last Tuesday. Was attended by all three county commissioners, also attended by Congressman Greg Landsman, so great opportunity to show off the city. So the street trees for this, there will be three varieties that were picked out by the tree board, and they will be essentially from this block moving south, and there are a few locations that are outside of the pedestrian improvement project where we have vacant locations for street trees, so it'll also be able to fill those holes in there. So yeah, that'll be a really great program. Should spend about $80,000 worth of improvements, which will include care for those trees, so we make sure we're not just putting a tree to soon be dead out there. We'll be putting a tree that'll be there for many, many years.
Mrs. Hoover.
How many years will we care for the trees as part of this contract?
This is just to get them through that initial season, so
Okay.
first year.
1 year. Okay. Do we have any idea what caliper you're looking for?
The tree board does. I do not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Mrs. Franzen.
Thank you. I'm really pleased for this, and I just wanted to assure any fellow Bradford pear haters out there, it's not Bradford pears, they're native trees. So, and it's, the tree board has passed on. So things that are not going to be in dealing with the electrical lines, that can be an issue where they have to lop the leads off of trees. So very excited to see this. Just wanted to make a note that for all the haters out there, I see you. And you're correct. And we are not going to be planting any invasive trees.
Thank you. Yes.
Now might be a good time, Noah, for you to talk about the Bradford pears right here in front of the old Quality Inn building that are not within this area.
So there are some trees that are located in front of the Montgomery and Maple development that need to be removed as part of that, so they're able to get cranes and the equipment in there needed to build the new road, build the new buildings. We do have, we're having some ongoing discussions with that, so essentially we'll allow those trees to come out and be replaced by trees that will be better for the community.
Mrs. Franzen.
I took a look at those trees. They're actually not Bradford pears. They're a elm. They're a Japanese elm, but they're not a native tree. And they look nice, but they can be kind of invasive in certain circumstances. So as much as I hate to see trees go away, these are not like nice maples or oaks that would have lived for decades later. They were probably within the last half of their life, considering their horticultural uses.
Thank you. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Powers, just with regard to this Community and Economic Development Assistance Program, is this separate from or a branch of the sort of funding that helped with the overall corridor project?
This is separate funding.
Okay.
So CDAP is a program that's part of the Community Development Block Grant Fund.
Okay.
So you'll hear that called CDBG.
Okay.
They refer to this as CDAP because we need a couple more acronyms to really fill the whole thing out. But it is part of those block grant funds.
Got it. And then I guess as a follow-up, I just on my personal commuting patterns, I end up going south on Montgomery more often, and I do see more of the cutouts. I guess it'd be on the west side of Montgomery as I head southbound, but maybe less so on the east side, like the Surrey Square side. Could you just comment at all on sort of the distribution by side of road, or if there's any pockets where maybe the Surrey Square people didn't want trees in front of Surrey Square, anything like that?
I do not really have great information that I could share right now about that. No.
Okay.
I can.
Chair Schneider.
Surrey Square just recently planted a lot of trees across that area right on their property. Probably 10 trees that went in there. So there are trees that's being repopulated with trees as we,
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Hoover.
I'm not sure if this answers your question, Mr. Moore, but I did reach out because I was curious how far up Montgomery it was going to go. I'm aware of there's a lot of open tree wells, if you will, up down at the southern end. And my understanding is that there's 7 open tree wells and those will be filled. So I'm not sure if you're asking about where there aren't tree wells and if we're going to be putting in new, or my understanding is every empty tree well will have a tree.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it was more so just I anecdotally noticed the west side seems to have more tree wells than the east side, and so that was.
And then one other little comment I would like to make is I remember years ago, 25, 30 years ago, when I would turn from Dana onto Montgomery, it was sort of coming into this corridor that was a little dark. There was that old blue building on the left-hand side, and then all you could see going down Montgomery Road were the power lines and a lack of trees. And just in the last 10 years with the and I don't remember what that blue building was on the left, but now that's where CTI is, and there are trees that are coming back, like in front of a Queen City Dispensary. There's a tree that is now actually in full bloom, and I'm really excited for in 5-10 more years what that's going to look like when you turn on to from Dana to see a tree-lined Montgomery Road. I think is going to be really beautiful. So I'm really excited about this. We've got a lot of tree lovers on council. And I'm excited for what that's going to do to the visual appearance of the community.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, motion on the floor by Mrs. Hoover, seconded by Mrs. Bowling. is to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the planting and maintenance of street trees along Montgomery Road utilizing Hamilton County Community and Economic Development Assistance Program funds and declaring an emergency. An ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the planting and maintenance of street trees along Montgomery Road utilizing Hamilton County Community and Economic Development Assistance Program funds and declaring an emergency. An ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the planting and maintenance of street trees along Montgomery Road utilizing Hamilton County Community and Economic Development Assistance Program funds and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Hoover.
I move we pass the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Hoover to pass the ordinance. Ms. Sullivan.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Moving on to the next item. Ordinance amending 62-2024, which superseded Ordinance 51-2024, which superseded Ordinance 47-2024, which amended Ordinance 18-2009, implementing Sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code to establish a community reinvestment area in the city of Norwood, to revise certain procedural requirements, and effectuate the global tax incentive agreement with the Norwood City School District and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we have a first reading of the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to have the first reading of the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Mr. Gardner.
If I may direct a question to Mr. Gary. Mr. Gary, sorry to put you on the spot, but if I understand, if I understand this correctly, there was a typo and we were given an amendment or an amended version. Can you just explain the discrepancy?
Yes.
I haven't had a chance to read this.
Mr. Gary.
Actually, I cannot explain the discrepancy,
Right.
but I can tell you that we did ask for an amendment.
Oh, do you know the amendment?
Mr. Gary.
I think I do. But I think it's just one letter.
Oh, okay.
It's just a total scrutiny error.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Franzen.
Mr. Bonzel said it was changing the word TOO to TO.
Added word to.
It's the lack of the word to, not anything that is substantial.
Any further discussion? Motion on the floor by Mrs. Bowling, seconded by Mrs. Hoover, is to have the first reading of the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have the first reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance amending 62-2024, which superseded Ordinance 51-2024, which superseded Ordinance 47-2024, which amended Ordinance 18-2009, implementing Sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code to establish a community reinvestment area in the city of Norwood, to revise certain procedural requirements and effectuate the global tax incentive agreement with the Norwood City School District and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Streets Fund 1001-0852-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by Capital Electric and declaring an emergency. Mr. Gurdon.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Gerton to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the resolution.
Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Streets Fund 1001-0852-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by Capital Electric and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Streets Fund 1001-0852-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for the services already rendered by Capital Electric and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Streets Fund 1001-0852-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by Capital Electric and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Gerton.
Make a motion to pass the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Gerton to pass the resolution. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is a resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Community Development Fund 1001-0880-57200 to pay for services already rendered by Bradley Payne LLC for municipal advisory work and declaring an emergency. Mr. Gerton.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Gerton to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Mrs. Franzen.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Franzen. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the resolution.
Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Community Development Fund 1001-0880-57200 to pay for services already rendered by Bradley Payne LLC for municipal advisory work and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Community Development Fund 1001-0880-57200 to pay for services already rendered by Bradley Payne LLC for municipal advisory work and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Community Development Fund 1001-0880-57200 to pay for services already rendered by Bradley Payne LLC for municipal advisory work and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Gerton.
Make a motion that we pass the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Gerton to pass the resolution. Is there a second? Mrs. Franzen.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Franzen. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is a resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Water Fund 5050-0853-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by IAMGIS Group LLC and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we suspend the rules and have all three readings.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Ms. Sullivan.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Girton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the resolution.
Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Water Fund 50500853, -57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by IAMGIS Group LLC and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Water Fund 5050-0853-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by IAMGIS Group LLC and declaring an emergency. Resolution authorizing the city auditor to approve a then and now certificate from the Water Fund 5050-0853-57200 to pay the outstanding invoice for services already rendered by IAMGIS Group LLC and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Girton.
I make a motion that we pass the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Girton to pass the resolution. Is there a second? Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a resolution endorsing the establishment of a Norwood Civic Youth Council, NCYC. Mr. Provins.
I move we suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Provins to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Is there a second? Ms. Sullivan.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Mrs. Hoover.
I would love for Councilmember Provins to talk a little bit about this for the folks at home. This is really exciting, I believe.
Mr. Provins.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Hoover. So the NCYC really, I've been thinking about it since I started living in Norwood. And growing up, I had a great, really ingrainment with federal government and state government, knew what those kind of worked in my civics class, but I didn't get a whole lot of local government. I thought we could build a program that would really help our students K through 12 get a small little injects of what we do for them, how their city government helps them in a short stint. So this program is structured for a year. It starts in September, ends in May. It's independently ran, so we're all volunteers. It's not endorsed by the city, but basically we'll have three different groups. K through 5th grade will be our cadets, and they'll come in really discovering what Norwood's all about, understanding how all of the pieces fit, how their government helps them in their daily lives, and they'll end their program with a showcase, and it will have them showcase to their families and all that sort of stuff of one thing they love about Norwood, one thing they would like to see different. Our ambassadors are kind of the middle school age, 6 through 8. They actually will have a task, so they'll come up with a formal presentation and we'll kind of work back from that. So in May, they'll present to council on one thing they would like to change, and we'll help them along the way throughout the program. And then our civic leaders, they have a little bit more of a pull. We're actually going to try to run a mock council if this program is endorsed and adopted. And the hopes is they'll actually develop legitimate legislation, run a mock council, consider the legislation. If it passes the mock council, it'll then be rolled up to us to consider. So I thought it'd be kind of a fun program for us to do. It's really focused on civic education and engagement. If endorsed, we'll open up applications tomorrow and let those run as schools kind of ending through June 15th. I would like to thank Mayor Snyder, Mr. Powers, Ms. Ronan, Mr. Westendorf, Ms. Rarica, and Mr. Atwood, who all spent some time with me, allowing me to pitch this idea to them and not completely saying you're crazy, but really helping support me and helping refine this program a little bit, so I could bring it forward to you all today.
Mrs. Bowen.
I'm very excited about this, and I have been digging through the newspapers because I wanted to find and did find two things in the paper about when I did a really similar program, and Mary Ronan was my superintendent then, so she knew all about this. So I found two. I found this clipping. These are from 2009, so please don't judge the photo quality.
Is that you?
That's me, and he ended up being my college roommate, Ian, and we were best friends. I was elected to this doesn't exist anymore. It was through the YMCA. It was called Youth and City Government. It was a 2-day conference that you attended. You could choose to run for the youth council, and you were essentially like given a sitting council person to shadow for a year. And you did a lot of community work. And then I found a picture of the entire council who was elected. At least 3 people from this council are currently active in local city government that I know of, who will like have full-time careers out of local city government. So there is proof of concept of this working. It is certainly the thing that got me interested in local politics, and it made sort of the illusion go away of how things get done, and made everything feel more accessible and more approachable. So I am thrilled about this. I am all for it. I can't wait to see what these folks end up doing with their lives. I think it's a great program to be behind.
Mrs. Franzen.
I agree. I think programs like this for kids, I mean, honestly, I think an adult version would be helpful for some people. It's just hard to really understand how local government works, like at your local city, county level. There's just so many fewer resources to understand it, and a lot of times it's easier to just kind of try and then give up. So, civic duty, it's not just voting, it's not just occasionally paying attention, you have to be an active citizen, and I think helping kids kind of understand that from earlier on will help our whole body politic be a little healthier, because right now, not just here but everywhere, it feels like a lot of people don't truly understand what it takes to be a democracy in a lot of places.
Further discussion. I did have one somewhat clarifying question. Under section 3, where it states that council further urges appropriate city staff to coordinate in scheduling, facility access, and administrative support for the operations. Can you elaborate on that a little?
Yep. So encourages just to use the space, and
Gotcha.
also encourages staff to participate. So,
Got it.
If we're going to showcase our government, we're going to have people from the government involved. So it doesn't require anything. It doesn't obligate the city to anything. It's just an encouragement from our city officials to, our leaders that help run our government to engage.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Mr. Bonville.
Thank you so much. I was just curious, so it's going to be you're expected to be at City Hall. Do you expect, I guess they would be, where would that happen at City Hall? Like the home base of the program when they come?
Right here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Perfect. And then just curious, so do you all have, because in the, by the way, I love the program. I do think it's great. It has council endorses, in that first section, the program. There's nothing in here though, and I know it's not, you might already have plans for it, but for like the for the adults that are going to be with the children, training, background checks, like are parents going to be here as well, or will you volunteers be supervising the children? I just didn't know if you could speak to any of that.
That's a great question. They won't be closed sessions, so if parents want to come, they're more than welcome. So the students will apply. Again, it's an independently ran program, so there'll have to be some trust there, much like soccer teams and that sort of thing. I will be leading the way. So I'll make sure that it's our city officials, and I would think if we trust them with our city, it'd be okay to trust them with an hour with our kids as well.
Yeah, no, it's not about like the speakers and whoever. It's just more about making sure that I also make sure the kids are protected. That's all. And I know that you, 100%, glad that you're going to be there. I'm glad that you're going to be doing this. I do think it's going to be a great program in general.
And then one well, let's say we have 100 kids express interest. The process for reviewing applications and selecting who those 10 are for each group?
Excellent question. So all applications will be through our online portal at norwoodcivicyouthcouncil.org. And those will be culminated by myself and de-identified and sent to our school and city leaders. And they'll have a rubric to kind of grade basic on, civic engagement, interest. There's some questions about why, basically why would you want to do this? And then those members will be selected. And I am working some sort of advisory group for those that aren't selected, because anybody that raised their hand into civic engagement, I think, should be given something. So I'd like to keep the class sizes small, so 10 per each group. But anybody that raises their hand will find something for them to engage with for our city.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Motion on the floor by Mr. Provins, seconded by Ms. Sullivan, is to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the resolution.
Resolution endorsing the establishment of a Norwood Civic Youth Council in CYC. Resolution endorsing the establishment of a Norwood Civic Youth Council in CYC. Resolution endorsing the establishment of a Norwood Civic Youth Council in CYC.
Thank you. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we pass the resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to pass the resolution. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. The next item is... No, this is not. We already had that one. Yes.
Also necessary twice.
Yeah, that was on there twice. All right, so, yes, we can go back to the ordinance regarding the loan agreement. Yes, with the Ohio Water Development Authority, ODWA/WSRLA. We do not have all of the necessary information if we want, or Mr. Powers.
At this point in time, there is no attachment that is supposed to go with this. So everything that was intended to be submitted is available in the ordinance and the request for the legislation.
All right, and you have the ordinance in your packet.
I do.
All right. Then with that stated, we will go. Mr. Moore.
Can we take a recess so that copies of that can be made and distributed?
Yes, we can. At this point, we will go ahead and council will take a 5-minute recess. All right. Council is back from their recess, and the item that we currently have before council is the ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply and enter into a loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, ODWA/WSRLA Loan Fund, not to exceed $432,000 for the replacement of lead or galvanized water service lines to privately held properties South Jefferson Avenue from Williams Avenue to Duck Creek Road, and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Mrs. Hoover.
I would love to have Mr. Powers come on and chat about this for a moment, about what this exactly is and why.
Mr. Powers.
Thank you. So this is a similar ordinance that we've done in the past when we've done road reconstruction projects, trying to go through that area, any place that has a lead service line hooked up to a residential property. We would make an offer to replace that as part of that project while we replace the city side of it, so that the entire service line can be replaced if it is lead. This would be done at the owner's option, and they would pay a portion of that back. So this is a 53% forgivable loan. So out of the funding that is provided, 53% of that is forgivable. The other 47% would be paid by the resident over a 10-year period.
Mrs. Hoover.
For context, I just want to share that I was just talking to Mr. Provins. The Ohio Lead Replacement Act, House Bill 307, is wanting for all lead service lines to be replaced within 15 years. And it's, so us getting this done now is only going to benefit us in the future. It also benefits our residents greatly. But if folks are interested, it is 307, House Bill 307.
I can add briefly on to that. There are currently federal mandates in the lead and copper rule to make these sort of replacements. So there is already a requirement that this be done.
Any further questions for Mr. Powers?
Quick question.
Mr. Bonzal.
I had two questions. One, is it mandated that to reconnect to the water that they do get, if it is a lead line that goes to their house, that it gets?
It is not.
Okay. And then is there going to be like language in this letter that you all send them explaining that they potentially could have their water disconnected in the future if there was a mandate that it had to happen? I mean, at least isn't that what the letters say that we get?
At some point in the future, as we get closer to those federal deadlines, there is that possibility. As we sit right now, we're not requiring anything like that. We don't have any authority where we are at this point to make that requirement. So we would not be saying that now.
Okay, yeah, it's just such a great opportunity to get, as Councilmember Hoover said, to just get it done. But I don't know if the residents understand how important it is and how great of an opportunity this is, to get it done. But either way, hopefully a lot of people take advantage of it.
Any other questions for Mr. Powers? Mr. Gert.
On that note, and I read this, but to ask the question, how do they repay the loan?
They repay the loan through their property tax bill.
Water bill?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yes.
Okay.
Pardon me. Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, thank you. The motion on the floor by Mrs. Bowling, seconded by Mrs. Hoover, is to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen? Yes. Mrs.
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the ordinance.
Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply and enter into a loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, ODWA/WSRLA Loan Fund not to exceed $432,000 for the replacement of lead or galvanized water service lines to privately held properties South Jefferson Avenue from Williams Avenue to Duck Creek Road, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply and enter into a loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, ODWA/WSRLA Loan fund not to exceed $432,000 for the replacement of lead or galvanized water service lines to privately held properties, South Jefferson Avenue from Williams Avenue to Duck Creek Road, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to apply and enter into a loan agreement with the Ohio Water Development Authority, ODWA WSR LA Loan Fund not to exceed $432,000 for the replacement of lead or galvanized water service lines to privately held properties, South Jefferson Avenue from Williams Avenue to Duck Creek Road, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Moore.
Motion that we pass the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Moore to pass the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Brovins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business. Mrs. Hoover.
I'm gonna tear through these pretty quickly. We already did that one. This is super exciting. We had the ribbon cutting for the Community Compost Hub, which is at Lower Millcrest. You just need to scan the QR code and you get access there. We already have, I think, almost 30 neighbors that are signed up. Really exciting. Check it out. This is going to be fantastic in terms of getting stuff that doesn't need things that don't need to be in the landfill out of the landfill. I believe it's about 30% of our garbage is compostable. So if we think about reducing by that amount, so check that out. It's April is volunteer month, and I forgot to take this down, but check it out. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities in Norwood, and check out that QR code for those. Yard waste bags, another diversion effort. You can pick up free yard waste bags from the Board of Health, and those are picked up on your regular garbage day by Rumpke from April through November. They have a truck, and those go to a special composting location. Those do not get or should not be intermingled with garbage. If people are having an issue, please reach out to Rumpke. They're very receptive, very responsive. I know last week, after years of never having my recycling missed, they missed mine. I sent an online thing. The next day, they picked up everything on the street. So it's super user-friendly. I encourage you to reach out to Rumpke instead of Facebook. Next. Another super exciting thing, this is in conjunction with the Board of Health. We now have our own mini recycling hub. I took 4 bags of recyclable materials there the other day. All of your egg cartons, your empty prescription bottles, your plastic bags, your plastic film, the things that your Amazon packages come in, that plastic, metally, whatever that is. All of that is able to be taken to our hub. The hours, it looks like I've got the wrong hours on there. We've just updated, or she just updated, it's gonna be bi-weekly, Mondays 3:30 to 5:30, and Tuesdays 9 to 11. This is a pilot project, so we're just sort of, things are gonna be in flux as it gets rolled out. But already we're getting a lot of great responses, so please check that out.
And just to clarify, those egg cartons are styrofoam, not
Yes,
the
correct.
paper.
Yes, if it is the cardboard, you can just regular recycle that, but these are all the styrofoam, all your egg cartons, your packing materials, your peanuts, packing peanuts, your Skyline. I actually could have had a picture of my entire family's Skyline takeout containers, where they're like 7 different little plastic containers. Give them a little rinse, maybe a little soap if it's really goopy, and all of that can be recycled at the hub. Really, really amazing. If you have questions, you can take a look at the Board of Health website, as well as we're going to try to get these flyers out to a lot of folks.
Yes, Mr. Province.
Before we move on to new business, we do have the charter item on there. So the ordinance is sitting in unfinished business because in order to put it on the ballot for November 3rd, we cannot pass it before 120 days out from the election. We did have a question come up tonight what the intent is. Really, this council can't enact a charter. We can't implement a charter. We can't write a charter. This is to give our residents an option of if they would like a charter, it gives them the option to vote for a charter. Along with that, there has to be 15 members that are willing to step up and basically run for the commission alongside this question. So kind of a two-pronged approach for November 3rd. One, it has to be, they vote yes to adopt a commission, and then there has to be at least 15 people on the ballot that receive votes to actually sit on that commission. If we do decide to pass the ordinance and then get that on the ballot, it'll be up to the voters on November 3rd. If they decide to establish a commission to frame a charter, and there's 15 people willing and able to do it, they then have a whole year to draft a charter. Then that charter goes back to the ballot for the election for the residents to decide if they want to adopt that specific charter. So again, the real intent is just to give our residents an option so they have a little bit more local control. The really nice thing is there's some things that are really hard to change at the state level. One thing that comes to mind specifically is the terms for our council members. We change over every 2 years, which it can make it a little difficult to get business done. If the city wanted to draft a charter that staggered the terms, so we'd have some longevity with council members, they could do that. So it just gives a little bit more local flexibility. And I absolutely hear you. There is some concern with that because people could manipulate and make their government difficult. But from what I've seen in the research I've done, the cities that adopt a charter tend to like the charter and like the local control they have over their government.
Thank you. Any other unfinished business? Mr. Moore.
Just as a follow-up, maybe the first of a couple on that. If an interested resident is watching this and thinking, oh, I would be interested in having my name up for consideration as a potential representative on the Charter Commission, when is their deadline? Like, what would be expected of them to, if they wanted to pursue it and get their name on the ballot?
Mr. Province.
Great question. It's much like running for elected office. So if we do pass the ordinance, they could then go to the Hamilton Board of Elections and pull a petition and have signatures from residents in the community, then file that petition with the Board of Elections.
Got it. Okay.
Any other unfinished business? All right. Any new business? Oh, Ms. Sullivan.
Just a reminder for the folks out there, kind of going along with what the mayor was saying, the residential streets, it is 25 miles per hour. I myself am outside as well, quite a lot as soon as it gets nice out, so just be careful of people out there, and the speed limits are set for a reason, so just be careful out there.
Thank you. Mrs. Franson.
Yeah, speaking of bicycles, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for reminding people to be kind to bicycles and also for bicyclists to do the 3 feet from the curb, don't be a jerk and slow down traffic for no reason. I've always been very happy riding my bike here in Norwood. People are usually very polite to me, so I want to keep that happening. Also, if you're a bicyclist, fun fact, if there's no one at the stop sign, you don't have to stop at the stop sign. That's in the ordinances. You don't have to stop if there is no traffic at a stop sign. You can slow down, we can roll on through. That really speeds up your commute.
For bicycles.
For bicycles, not motorcycles. Also, if you're a class 3 bike, don't go on Wasson Way. That's illegal too. Don't mow down the children and the dogs. Yeah.
Anything else under unfinished business? Any new business? Mrs. Huber.
I've got a couple items. The first is sort of piggybacking on what the mayor said, that there will be another community cleanup on the 25th. The 25th of April has become a pretty popular day. Some friends of Bridget Kelly, if you recognize her lovely face there, reached out. They are not only started they're starting a Bridget Kelly Day of Service. And so they reached out to me because of my background with the MLK Day of Service. And they are going to be coming here on the 25th to do community good. So I'm working with Mr. Gabbard with the parks to get a list of different parks for them to go to, as well as connecting with the schools. They might go to some schools. They'll do some work in the community gardens. But if this is something that you are interested in, please check out the QR code. We already have like almost 25 volunteers for that. So you're going to see a lot of folks on the 25th. And it's such a beautiful way to celebrate Bridget. The next one is some of those other events. The left-hand side, Norwood Cleanup. We're going to be doing a huge, another diversion opportunity for tires that will be through the Public Works, the 25th and the 26th at Public Works, back tucked behind on Harris Avenue. But at the municipal lot across from the Board of Health and adjacent to the high school, we will be doing a paper shred. The mini hub will be active there. We will have a yard waste bin, so if you have lots of extra yard waste that you don't want to bundle, you can bring it and dump it there. We're going to have the police will be there to take expired prescriptions. Friends of the library will be there to accept donations of books. Electronics will be accepted. And the Board of Health and I are hoping that this will become an annual event. This is, Baby Bear will be there accepting items of gently used baby items, equipment that hasn't been recalled. We will not be doing paint or hazardous household materials. The vendors for that this year were too expensive. So unfortunately that is not a thing. But if you do have paint, I would recommend, where I take it is the Restore, Habitat for Humanity Restore. They accept paint. That's right on Para Avenue, as well as Matthew 25. They do a rainbow paint thing where they take, if you have at least a third of a can of paint, they mix it all together in blues and greens and then paint stuff. If you just have a little bit, you can just let it dry out, add cat litter, and then you can just put it in your regular garbage can. And there's also going to be a non-perishable food drive. So a ton of stuff is going to be happening, and would love to see a lot of folks there and start this off well. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other new business? Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Gears. This is, I hope, a benign suggestion, but it came up in the the Engagement Communication Outreach Committee that perhaps the slides that you pull together that kind of are like a community roundup could potentially serve as like, let's say, a screensaver before the council meeting starts. Such that if, when the broadcast goes live at 7:20, 7:25, that these could just cycle through on maybe like a 10-second kind of thing, such that if people are joined early, they can get some of these community updates right up front, rather than at 9:34, 2 hours into it. Again, basically just as a small community engagement touch point. Just want to mention that.
Thank you. Mrs. Hoover.
I think that's a great idea. I would say I'm still, after 3 years I've been doing this, it's still not fine-tuned, and I would also love to have a way for other council members to be able to drop stuff in. Sometimes I have the ability to ask. Usually I'm finishing up 5 minutes before the meeting. So I think that's a fantastic idea. I would just need some tech help since I'm of a certain age.
I will note along those lines that the clerk of council's office, Angela, puts the slideshow together for every meeting. So as long as any items that council members want to have discussed or added to the new business or unfinished business, if you send those to her by Friday, she can get those added into this so that we aren't flipping between different presentations or slideshows. Any other new business? To piggyback on the yard waste bags, I did just want to also remind people that we are getting into the grass cutting season, and that grass clippings should not be blown into the street or into the curb. That does become an issue literally down the line with the storm sewers. It also is a safety issue when those clippings in the road get wet and we have runners or bikers. And then along the piggyback on the pedestrians and cars, just a reminder for those who have driveways that you should not be blocking the sidewalk. We're having an issue with that actually next door with house flippers who have a dumpster in the middle of their driveway, and the construction crew parks behind the dumpster. And the Saturday before Easter, watched numerous families having to walk out into the street to get around because that sidewalk was blocked. So just a reminder for some courtesy to those walking on the sidewalk and those families with kids who are in bikes, strollers, or wagons. Any other new business? All right, then we move on to communications, and we have just one. Mrs. Franzen.
I move that we receive and file the communication as if read.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to receive and file the communication as if read. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? And just to clarify, this was the mayor's court fines for March 2026. All right, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Brovins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. We have no absent members this evening. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Mrs. Hoover,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
is there a second? Mr. Girton,
I second the motion.
call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Brovins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. This meeting is hereby adjourned.